Hi everyone, this is Killshot 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 1, super early predictions. We are not waiting for the trailer. We're not waiting for the spoilers. We are going to get into it right now. So a lot of people are like, wait a minute, I'm a little bit confused. There's news out there, something hit. Yeah, there's news, but it's more people talking about who might be filming, what could be happening. This is our moment. This is the opportunity for us to get together, to do it the way we want to do it, to get the predictions out there. There's a couple rules. There's always rules. I know people don't like that. But we are going to stick to Episode 1. We're not going to talk about Episode 7, 8, 9, 12. We're going to go show by show, and then whatever we come up with today, we're going to add on to it. Before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to the patrons. You can see them right up there in the screen. And also, Amy Ferreira says, I want to give Kills a shout out on this crappy, rainy night from the 99 Army for being the best live streamer out there, and a whole lot of emojis. That is some high praise. Thank you so much, Amy. Appreciate that. And we are going to show you guys a nice, beautiful picture of the DC landscape. It is beautiful, right? Check that out. So, yes, it was cherry blossom. A lot of cherry blossom things going on this weekend, next weekend, all throughout the week. So we are going to talk a little bit about some of the things that are going to go down in episode number 1. So here's what I need you guys to do. I'm going to give you just a few narratives. But the first thing that I kind of thought of, and I'll ask you guys to, guys and ladies, sorry, it's slang. I'm sorry if I do that. Just ask our group for a little bit of insight. And I put this up on the Patreon site just a couple minutes ago. And I asked, what could we name episode number 1? Because we know there's going to be a lot of Michonne's story. We know the Whispers are going to be in there. So I posted a couple, and this is what came up the most common, was episode 1, picking up the pieces. How do you guys think that sounds? You know, there's going to be pieces left behind from the Whispers. There's going to be, you know, it also, it can mean regrouping, restarting, restructuring, all of those things. Uncle Creepy says the thaw. I did put the fight begins as well. That was another one that was up there. So, a few people like that, right? Picking up the pieces. So if you got something better, then leave your thought right now. And keep in mind, whatever you type is a permanent part of Walking Dead lore. It's a permanent part of YouTube culture. So we can always go back and figure out who is right, who is wrong. So a couple people are saying it works. What comes out? I feel like that was already used, Tommy. I'll have to go back. Maybe not last season, but I feel like that might have been something previously. Wow. Can you please block this person? Here, I'll just block you. What a asshat you are. Not even going to read your comment, not even going to read your name, just going to block you. How about that? Welcome to live. Yeah, Tommy, can we try that again? Thank you. All right. Tom Ferreira says, no turning back, super chatting it. June Smith. I would have thought June would have said, oh my God, we'll name it, but it's got to be Rick Grimes is gone. June. I know you'd want episode number 1 to be something. The search for Rick Grimes. How about that? June Smith, the super chat, says, Army, oh my God, I missed you guys. Been MIA for a couple of days, but I'm back. Back with a vengeance is June. So I did read a few of the comments before we got here, and it's almost like it's the end of Walking Dead and people are kicking rocks and you guys don't. Look, we're here. This is what we do during the off season. Don't give me that I'm depressed and I can't wait for the Walking. Okay, you can say I can't wait for the Walking Dead to come back, but we're not going anywhere. This group is going to be here. We're going to get the news. We're going to predict it. We're going to do all of those things. So Janet Person says Borders. That's not bad. Sounds like a bookstore, but I like it. I could go with that. Denise Hopkins says moving forward. That could work. Could definitely work. So a lot of there you go, Sheila. Not depressed, just waiting for fear. So in the meantime, because look, I know a lot of our fans are not Game of Thrones fans, and we are going to be talking Game of Thrones next week. We've got a calendar up and everything. But we're not going to give up on Fear the Walking Dead and Walking Dead. There is a countdown on. So we got Wilson. Wilson super chat and says, Episode 1, The Message. All right, so we've got some good ideas out there for titles. I love them. The Meltdown. But here's the challenge. Remember, I said there were rules. And you can think forward. You can come up with some, think about what could happen in episode 3, 4, or 5. But we don't want to dwell on that too much because here's what we're going to do. Today, we're just going to come up with basically like our own little mini spoilers, like a roadmap of how it could play out. And then, Ava Gentry, what you're doing right now, that's what we'll do next week. Episode 2, yes. But we're not going to do episode 2 yet. Yeah, and Gunner, you need to go away too. Your comment is rude, it's insensitive, and you should not be on YouTube. Your mother should make you go do your homework. Tom Ferreira, The Whisperer War. No, Tom, it's too early to get into the war. Okay, this is what I want you guys to do. Episode 1 is not going to be an all-out war, a Whisperer War. We got to build up to the war. So if we're going to build up to the war, a couple of things have to happen. So the first thing I want you to do is think small. Stop giving me, who's going to be piked, who's going to do this. The episode will never start out with a machete-wielding person just chopping people up. That's not the way it's going to go down. So give me a couple minor things that are going to go down, and then we'll build up to it a little bit. So here's an example. I think the episode will start out with Alpha maybe in a different area, maybe close to the beach, perhaps. What do you guys think? You'll see where I'm going with this in a minute. The borders crossed because we saw the weather was looked to be a little bit warmer. There wasn't all the blizzard and stuff going on. So now there's going to be a mini time skip, a silent spring. Possibly Coachella. I like that idea, and I do have that written down. But I think that's going to tie into something else. William the Walking Dead Billboard says, not mine, Beeble Dog, The Aftermath is a good one. Okay, The Aftermath's not bad. We'll write a few of those down, and then we'll revisit it. The Sweetest Bee. What's up, Sweet Bee? I'm going to abbreviate if you don't mind. Rosita will have her baby by then. Well, do we think that Rosita's actually going to have that baby? I don't want to get too far into our prediction, but somebody asked me a little bit earlier, could there be a second Pike scene? I think so. Ooh, I like this. Marcia Derbyshire says, a line in the sand. Now, that ties into something good. I love that. A line in the sand. Alpha expanding her borders and marking the next border. We know Oceanside's going to be there. We know Oceanside wanted to help train. How about we get a death? How about we get a death of someone from Oceanside? All right, we're good. All right, let's stop with the names. We're good. We got enough to choose from. Let's move on to a little bit of the plot, some things that can go down. And it would make sense for Alpha to sort of get away from all that blizzard and maybe go to a little bit warmer area toward the beach. People blaming Lydia, that's a possibility. So keep in mind, one of the big central themes for at least the first half of Season 10 is going to be Michonne. It's going to be how they write Michonne's character off the show. And for fear of getting too far ahead, just remember, we got to get the little bits and pieces leading up to that. So I don't think that Episode 1 is going to be Michonne packing her suitcase and leaving. But I do agree that there's going to be some other radio chatter. And I think some of that radio chatter might lead to Father G and Negan talking about the helicopter. Tom Ferreira, Alden still hates Lydia. correct. The Lydia storyline is going to be a big part of episode 1. So this is what we got so far. We definitely got to have something big eventually. They can't just kind of bore us to death. It's not going to be, I don't feel like it's going to be super uplifting. You guys have kind of heard the impersonation or the impression like episode 9. We're rebuilding. We got windmills. We're going to a museum. Ezekiel's going to fall through the floor. All right. John says Lydia adjusting to normal life. So I feel like, look, it's season 10. Season 10 it's got to be big. Season 9 was a big deal because the 100th episode, when you get to like milestones, but season 10, they're going to have to really blow us away. And I do think there'll be a death. And I think it's going to be dark. But I don't think it's going to be showing all the flowers growing and life normal. You still got the Carol and Ezekiel thing. So, Ezekiel, the longer he's away from Carol, the more I see him not being okay being away from Carol. Do you guys agree with that? Like, in the beginning, it's going to be something like, hey, go figure things out. I get it. But I think the longer that happens, I can see it wearing on him. I can see the failed relationship wearing on him. The death of Henry wearing on him. So I could see Ezekiel going to a pretty dark place in his life. And simultaneously, them telling the story of Michonne leaving. Tom Ferreira says, Alden tries to kill Lydia or someone tries to. Maybe, Tom. I don't see that being a bad thing. Maybe someone tries to kill Lydia and Lydia has to kill somebody to defend herself. That would certainly set that eerie tone. So this is what we got so far. So would you guys agree that episode number 1 of season 10, we do need to hear Rick Grimes on the radio? That should be, if they didn't do it at the end of 9, they were saving it for the premiere of season 10, just to get everybody on board for the whole season. I think that's going to be like the one wild card to sort of get Michonne into that, it's time to leave. Now remember, we are going to talk about episode number 2, and based on our calendar, I think that's going to be Tuesday night. I think Tuesday will be our follow-up to The Walking Dead. So remember what we talk about. We want to kind of layer onto it. Now, as I said, we do have to think about how the story is going to play out. So bear with me. I don't think this is going to happen until episode 6, episode 7, episode 8, somewhere along the way. And I'm going to be right eventually because I've been predicting this for a long, long time, and it's going to come true this season. I'm putting my predictor hat on. Here it goes, everybody. In the comic, Michonne left because they would not kill Negan. I think it's going to be the opposite. I think Michonne is going to disagree because I think some people are going to want to kill Negan. I think some people are not going to want him to be there. I think some people are not going to trust him. So I think it's going to play out a little bit the opposite. But I still think they're going to give her the time skip. I don't think she feels like she's ready to lead. She's going to be uncomfortable with the situation. And I also feel like the Rick storyline is going to build up. She's got the little mini Rick figure. She's got the ring. She's got the gun. She's going to hear about the helicopter. And she's going to have to go out and look for him. And I think this is where the Judith situation will play out. So stick with me a second here. I've been looking for this. This was like finding a gold nugget after we've been looking over and over and over again. Well, I guess all we had to do was, according to Negan, is look where the dog pooped, because that's going to be where the gold nuggets are. But I got this. Hold on, I got this. Why would Michonne not take Judith? She would leave Judith to make sure nothing happens to Negan. There it is. That's it. That's the wild card I've been missing. Michonne finds out about Rick. She finds out about the helicopter. She hears the voice. People still will not give Negan a pass. She knows there's people that are still out for blood. And the only person that she can have watch over Negan and protect Negan is Judith. Because nobody's going to kill Negan as long as Judith Grimes is there. Well, Ava, I think she will not only protect Negan, but I think it's more, look, it's probably a bad analogy. Negan might be Judith's puppy. You don't take away a girl's puppy, right? Negan is somebody that Judith cares for, that she can be around. And the group may not trust him, but as long as Judith trusts him, I think they're kind of forced into it. So I think that makes the split work. Now, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Like I said, I can see building up to that storyline. So if I think that's going to happen in 6, 7, or 8, what happens between episode number 1? Drama, there's no confirmation for that. You know that. It's a loaded question. There is no confirmation, honestly, for anything. But a whole lot of people are talking about it. And there's a whole lot of divisiveness, even when the topic comes up. I'm going to address that in a couple minutes as well, too. So hold tight with that, Drama. Because I witnessed some things that just didn't represent the Army very well in my mind a little bit earlier. So we get a little bit of the, hugging and, making amends and all the cool stuff that's going on, trying to get Negan accepted. But the problem is going to be Carol is not going to have it. They've been saving this Carol Negan moment. Now remember, all of these people pretty much have probably got to see Negan. They got to spend a little time with him. They know what's going on with Rick. With Carol, it is going to be like opening an old wound. And we kind of felt that, right, with Talking Dead. All she knows is this is the guy that killed Glenn and Abraham. She hasn't been around him. She doesn't know him. She doesn't trust him. Carol and Negan, I don't think, will get along at all. And if Daryl was leaning toward trusting Negan because of Michonne, and if Daryl left Negan alive because of Rick, Carol, I think, could have an influence on Daryl. Just interesting to see how that plays out. So initially, if you're going to go like big in season 10, do you guys think Rick on the radio would be a big narrative? You think that would kind of get the audience kind of buckled up, ready for the whole season? And it does kind of serve two purposes. It gets Denai a good exit. I think the writers are going to write her an amazing exit. And they're not killing her. Is there anybody here that has the slightest bit of fear, has the slightest bit of doubt, and thinks that Michonne will be killed? I think there's no way. I think season 10 is going, at least the first half, is going to be about Michonne's journey to find Rick. Anybody think that Michonne could possibly die? I don't. I think, I'm going to say it like I said Rick. When that question came up, I said, there is zero chance they kill Rick Grimes. It would be terrible writing. There is no way possible that they kill Michonne. Ain't going to happen. Too good of a story for her to go be reunited with Rick. It's going to be like some peaches and herb stuff. They're going to be reunited, and it feels so good. So we'll get out of the gates with that. All right. Just real quick, and I won't dwell on this, but I am going to make it a point because everybody in this room, everybody that's subscribed to this channel, everybody that's members, everybody's Patreons, everybody that goes to our Walking Dead fan page and types and gets along and gets involved in these predictions, and we have a lot of fun. Let me say this. We are not a fighting forum. We won't be. And if you ever say something that makes a member not want to be here, that makes a subscriber not want to hang out on our channel, that makes somebody on our Facebook page not want to come to our Facebook page, if you're that person, you are the problem. So don't be the problem. People make mistakes. They get heated. I get it. But if you continue to be the problem, you won't be a part of our channel. Even if you've been here for a long time. It's not the way we operate. I can't put on a microphone and in good conscience tell all these people, like, hey, come to our forum, come to our live streams. It's special. You know, we got people out at Walker Stalkers, Comic-Con, getting shout-outs from Jadis, getting shout-outs from Father G, you know, tweeting Angela Kang, Chris Hardwick, all these saying, come watch our channel. And then we bring people in, and the way we treat each other is divisive. And this Maggie issue, let me say this, and I did a rant. So I'm going to step up. I did a rant and said, I will not like Maggie coming back. You can disagree with that. You can agree with that. It doesn't matter. It's a rant. It's my opinion. You don't have to agree with my opinion. It's just talk. I have that right, and you have that right too. But you don't have the right to criticize somebody else for their opinion. Because there's people that love the Maggie character, and no matter what she does, they always will. So, all right, I'm moving on from that, but just look. Just operate with professionalism and with class, and people will still continue to come to our channel, and they won't be afraid to state their opinion. We're not here to shut people down. And when you do that, you shut people down, and they don't want to talk, and they don't want to communicate because some bully is going to talk louder and in bold print and have an answer for every question they have. Don't be that person. William, the Walking Dead billboard. We are the 999 Army. We are family. Exactly. All right. So that's why we're going to, when we do these predictions, you have to understand almost everything that we predict is going to be wrong. It will. But that's fine because we're predicting without any knowledge, anything whatsoever. But I will tell you this. If you turn on the television in season 10, and the first voice is Rick, and Negan says, hell, maybe his people in the helicopter took him. Hot diggity dog. You know, and then if that happens, you're going to be like, wait a minute. Way back on April 7th, we predicted that. We predicted that happened. It's kind of like way back in April a couple of years ago. In April, I might add, when I did the video that said Negan will kill Glenn and Abraham. It was 2 months before spoilers ever came out. And it was one of those things that it just kind of felt good and sounded good, and we built on it. And it happened. And it's like when we predicted Simon was going to die, and Negan was going to kill Simon, and it just kind of happened. You know, I can give you 1,000 examples where we're completely wrong, but boy, when you get it right and it feels like a good prediction, you remember them. So, episode number 1. We can't have a Michonne journey and a Rick Grimes voice without a little bit of darkness in the episode. So it won't be all uplifting, like I said before. We're rebuilding. Rick's on the radio. Michonne's going to find him. No, we gotta get some darkness in there. So let's think Alpha for a moment. Give me your best Alpha prediction. Don't give me, halfway through the season. I need a dark Alpha moment that would be fitting for the first episode. Tom Ferreira says, can you say, I will find him in Alpha's voice? I can. Would you like for me to? That would be a follow-up, right? I will find him. There you go. Let's see. Her daughter on a pike. Rosita death. Viola, that might be a little tough. For episode 1? She gets whipped again? Rebecca. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a big... Somewhere between a Rosita death... Okay, you guys are giving me some boundaries. Pun fully intended. Boundaries. Because, yeah, that's what Alpha uses. So somewhere between what Viola said, with Rosita being on a pike, and somewhere between Alpha being beat is our sweet spot. We need to find something that kind of works. King Ezekiel meets Alpha, says Rachel. That's a possibility. Alpha's people are going to start testing her. Okay. I like that. K. Smith says we're going to get a little bit of, like they didn't learn the last time. I don't know. Maybe that could happen. I know I wouldn't be one of those. I'm either leaving or I'm balled in. I don't think you can have middle ground with Alpha. I think you either need to sneak away and go live in another state, or you better kind of do as she says. Yeah, Tom, I'm probably going to... Yeah, I don't know if I could do a general and Alpha's voice at the same time. There is going to be conflict. So, Justin, okay, there you go. I kind of like that. What do you guys think about this? How about a little bit of evidence? Just a little bit. Hold on. Bear with me. There you go, Linda Ybarra. Learns they crossed the board. Now you're kind of getting to where I'm thinking. I know where you've been, that type of thing. Drama King, I personally would like to see her find love with Negan. And then, Negan's plan. I do think that scene they filmed with Negan, I think that's a season 10 spoiler. I think that's Negan's plan. But I don't think it's going to happen in episode 1. So I don't want to get too far ahead of that. But before Alpha starts marching on Hilltop, she's got to find out they crossed the border. How about those arrows she found before? Remember the arrows she picked up and threw in front of the Symphony of Awesome? Luke and Alden? The snow has melted. Alpha is back on her land. What do we have? This looks like an arrow. There will be conflict. So how about some of those arrows that they were using? Yumiko and Daryl firing some arrows, and then she goes back and sees a couple dead walkers there, and she knows that they've been in her territory. The sweetest bee you'll ever meet. Super chatting it up. Says, why is Michonne leaving? Is it pay? That is a very, very good question. I will say if it is pay, I don't think Denai would make it personal. I don't think she would publicize it to the media. She tends to handle her business a little bit differently than other people. But I think she's making a fortune doing movies. And she understands the role. I'd certainly think Black Panther will be a big part of that, and I think the Rick Grimes movie. I think she's a movie star. Tom, I don't think Father G can be gutted by Beta that soon. I think they're going to have to build up to a conflict. You see what I'm saying? Like, we can't have like 10 minutes of no backstory and all of a sudden Father G and Beta are in the middle of a field together. Okay, maybe in episode 2, maybe in episode 3. See, here's the thing that I want to say, because and Sweetest B, I think you bring up a fair point, but already I've seen at least 5 different suggestions, and I've seen it's because, and I've seen I think this, and I've seen it might be this, or this is because. And nobody knows. So all of us are putting forth our best guesses, but none of us are experts on deny. And I guess we could say what all the news agencies do, right? All the news channels, and say a source with knowledge of Denai's thinking says it's because of this, right? Isn't that the way sources always work out? A person familiar with Denai's thinking says it's to work on movies. The assumption that I would make is she's phenomenal. She understands the character, and I don't have knowledge of this, but I think her movie career is just getting started. And probably hard to do a full-time TV gig and get into multiple movies. I mean, you can do a movie. You can be like Jerry in Shazam. But I think she's a little bigger. She's at a much, much higher star status. So, how many people are cool with 2 things? With the Whisper storyline. We see the herd turn around and head toward their normal land. And then we see Alpha finding out that there's a few errors. Alpha has to find out they crossed her land. I don't think she's going to attack them just for no reason. Would you guys agree that would be a good enough Alpha story, at least for episode number 1? You know, get the horde back to that big canyon. Hey, winter's over. Let's get back to our area. Get them pinned up in case we need to attack. Build up our horde a little bit more. They've been rounding up a few extras so nobody will ever mess with them. And Drama, you're right. She may already know. I mean, they did leave it like, she was being beat to toughen herself up. So one would wonder why she says she needs to be stronger. So this is what I've got for episode number 1, and let me know if you guys agree with some of this or if there's some additional things that you think. Remember, it's an hour. You can only do so much in an hour. So, number 1, I think Alpha has migrated toward Oceanside. Maybe an Oceanside death left behind. If you really want to see, that could be the first 5 minutes. And then, we see them down by the water, and then they're getting ready to turn around. She tells Beta, round up the horde. And then Beta rounds them up, and they start to walk away. And right before it goes to the opening credits, you see like a couple Oceanside heads on pikes. And then And then we know it's going to be dark and dramatic. So they're on kind of their way back. That's the way it sort of starts out. And then, we cut to Alexandria, and we got to find out what's going on there. Carol meeting Negan, so that's going to be kind of the backdrop. And then, anybody out there? This is Rick Grimes. And then, boom, then the audience going nuts. Oh, my God, Rick's on the radio. Yes. So we get like that darkness with Alpha in the beginning. She already killed somebody at Oceanside. She's getting ready to go back to her area, and then we hear Rick on the radio. So we kind of pause that for a little bit, and everybody's kind of going nuts. And then we get some typical Negan like, hell, and then he kind of spills the beans of he lived, must have been the helicopter, something. So we get into the helicopter storyline. We got Delaware Sasquatch says, it's possible Lydia dropped something, a necklace. Possible, at Henry's little monument area. Very possible, Delaware. So, but if she did, like, let's say she marked it there, then technically I don't think that's trespassing. But if they killed walkers, then that, certainly. So, if you can get into season 10, and already in like the first 10 minutes, you've got Alpha leaving Oceanside with a second Pike scene that happened, and then they're on their way back, so you're already feeling that. And then you're already into the whole, we got Rick on a radio. Mods, we can unblock, I think we double blocked that asshat that comes here all the time, but unblock Little Chi, if you can, please. There you go. Thank you. Mods are super fast. They're like, not him again. Block him. All right, so that's a couple bullet points I got for episode number 1. All right, and then we got to have 10, 15 minutes of dialogue and planning, and what's Michonne going to do, and Judith is there, and everybody's just going to be going on with life, right? At the same time. The fact that Negan had this information might make Daryl want to kill Negan. Could that be a possible storyline? Just when you thought it was safe to trust Negan, now you realize he's been holding back some information. And he's going to be introduced to Carol. That's not a good combination, right? You knew there was the slightest possibility that Rick was alive and we've been out there looking for people. You didn't think that was important to tell us? Tom Ferreira, what do you mean by something dark happening? Oh, I mean by Alpha killing some people. And maybe we don't necessarily see it, but they got to have something cool that goes down in the first 90 seconds to 2 minutes before they get to the opening credits. Something kind of reel you in and keep you focused. And it'll either be the radio, in my opinion, or it'll be Alpha. William, the Walking Dead Billboard, says, I think episode will end with Alpha's group and Horde walking toward Alexandria. Possibly. But we're not there yet, William. We still gotta plan out the arrows. But I think you're right. That's the way I think it'll end as well. There you go. I like that. Ava Gentry says, Daryl wants to destroy Negan. That's why Judith will be the firewall. Perfect. Perfect comment. Perfect. Judith the firewall. I love it. And I think it's also important that Judith loves Daryl and Judith loves Negan. And she is going to be the reason Negan stays alive. Perfect. Perfectly done. So I think we got some pretty good data here. Something to build on. Grimes on the radio. Episode ends with Rosita's death. It can't. See, here's the thing, Grimes. I don't think Alpha can get from wherever she's at, migrate, and then kill Rosita all in an hour. I'm not going to dispute whether or not Rosita could die. I don't think Rosita dies in the opening episode. Remember, if you're a writer, if you're trying to keep your audience for the entire season, you can't shoot all your ammunition in episode number 1. It's too soon. I agree. Way too soon. You save that for, you need to keep people the whole time. Tom says, how will Negan react to Lydia? Sarcastically, of course. He's going to be, and Angela Kang even said as much. And all the green team, do me a big favor. Because, hey, it's off season. Angela Kang might be watching. And if she does watch the playback, can you guys just show some love for the greatest showrunner in the history of The Walking Dead? Can we flash the Angela Kang emojis, green team? Let's show the support. So I do think that Negan will, have some things to provoke Lydia a little bit. Their way of life. I mean, there will be some lines. Trust me. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. But I don't know if we'll see a Negan-Lydia conversation, episode number 1. That could be something they build into. I love where you guys are going with this. So certainly, on Tuesday's stream, when we start talking about episode number 2, I got bullet points of some things that could potentially happen. And then we're going to add on a few extra things. So, based on the summary here, and we'll wind this down just a couple minutes, give me one bold prediction that you think could happen in episode number 1. I'm going to read a few comments. Kels, I'm going to pick a couple of these out. If you could do me a favor and just grab notes on a couple of these as well. That way, when we get to Tuesday's stream, we'll have a good basis. So, Lakeisha Faison said, be amazing to hear Rick's voice on the Comic-Con trailer. Do you think he would even attend? Oh, I do. I mean, he's going to be a part of the universe. He's going to be in movies. He's going to be doing some directing probably from time to time. Grimes on the radio. Rosita's death, mid-season finale then. I think Michonne leaving, mid-season finale. But how about Michonne leaving and Rosita's death, Grimes on the radio? It's a possibility. So, yeah, we'll certainly add that to it. All right, so give me a few more bold predictions. Remember, don't go super, super crazy, but something that would be big but not blow everybody's mind. Ezekiel heard the voice on the radio, goes back into the room. Maybe Father G tells them instead of Negan. It's a possibility. Eugene hears Rick's voice on the radio at the end of the episode. Connie and Daryl connect. Kel, that's one. Connie and Daryl with a relationship. I would definitely like to discuss that, and I think that could play out. Because I think they're going to need to bring closure to the Carol-Daryl thing. And I think that does that. Tom Ferreira, Alpha kills Cindy and a few Oceanside gals. That could happen. Tom, that's where I think that we'll just see them on the pikes. I don't know if we'll see the kill, but I think we'll see their heads on a pike, and they'll be leaving, and we'll know, okay, that was Oceanside. They gave them the warning as well. Joe, I don't think Judith will get kidnapped by Alpha, because I still feel like they've got to make their way back. I just don't see anybody running into Alpha from Alexandria or Hilltop in episode number 1. Well, see, Julie says, I don't want anything Oceanside. But if Alpha's down at Oceanside, having them all on pikes would certainly bring closure to that story, right? So I do think we're not very interested in who they are and what they've done. But it works for me because it's going to be slightly warmer. It works for me because they sent a message. And it also works because it could probably bring an end to their story. June Smith, picture this. Alexandria 2019, June finds Rick. What? I like it, June. I like it for, hey, 10 seasons, why not go out with a bang? Lakeisha's like, yeah, June, return him to the show. I don't think June would return him to the show. And I will doubt that there will be any Maggie predictions in episode 1. I'm going to say no. And I'll tell you why. I think the earliest that we would see Maggie is in episode number 9 after they take a break and start filming again, because she's still got other things going on. I would be shocked. They're going to start filming in a couple of weeks. I would be shocked if Lauren was spotted anytime in the first half of the season. I don't think. At best, I think mid-season finale, if at all. Tom, yeah, maybe 10-8. But, yeah, you're going to have to bring that up in about 3 weeks. Because we're going to be predicting episode number 2 on Tuesday. But that's why it's so important to get these predictions in now, because they're going to start filming in a few weeks, and we're already going to know some hints and some clues and some pictures and a few pre-spoilers. So cherish the lack of knowledge, because it starts, coming fast and furious. All right, let me get a couple more predictions, and we're 45 minutes into this, and we will wind this thing down. Janet Person says Maggie may show up on Michonne's way out. I could certainly see that. And I do think if they bring Maggie back, they are going to bring her guns a-blazing and really try to ingratiate her upon the audience. I mean, she's going to have to come in and be responsible for helping win the Whisperer War, in my opinion. All right, let me get a couple more thoughts, couple more. I do like the Daryl and Connie thing. Rick's voice at the end of episode 1, possibly. I think it'll happen earlier. Oh, I got your super chat, June. That's what we were talking about. It was the picture this, Alexander 2019, June finds Rick. I'm right there. There were even some follow-up questions. That super chat, June. It might be lagging a little bit behind. Alpha and Beta have some issues. That's a possibility, K. Smith. All right, and the last question before we wind the stream down and I do some shout-outs. Other than... Yeah, I think there's some serious lagging going on with June. Maybe somebody can type to June. Here, let me ad-lib it again so she gets it twice. June will shower Rick Grimes with love in Alexandria in 2019 and force him to come back to the show forever. So, last thing, any deaths other than maybe potentially some of the Oceanside? I heard Rosita. I think it's too soon. Any other things you could see go down? Heart of Nixie says, I predict we won't hear from Rick until at least the movie's been shot. Possibility. Alden gets himself in a little... Maybe Lydia kills Alden in the first episode. Alden, stricken with rage and remorse, blames Lydia, tries to kill Lydia. She defends herself. Alden dies. Yeah, Alden doesn't really have a story anymore. He's, Enid's gone. Now he's a bully. So, there we go. All right, everybody. Hey, everybody's wanting to kind of get a little bit anxious and talk about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So everybody do me a favor. If you had a good time doing our early predictions, give this video a thumbs up. We will be back talking about episode number 2 on Tuesday night. I'm going to give you guys the schedule for the week. Tomorrow night, we will have a Walking Dead topic mixed in, but this is kind of a shout-out for all the people that like to do other things besides just The Walking Dead. And I know when we do Walking Dead topics, we always have a big audience, a lot of playback. Tomorrow night on Monday, we're doing something we've been doing for about 2 years. It's called Random Things. I would love for everybody watching and here live right now, anybody watching the playback, show up tomorrow night for that. There's going to be 6 topics. It does get random. People will super chat. It's more structured than Freestyle Friday, but we have some themes, and it just gives a chance for people to hang out and not just break down The Walking Dead. If you guys are going to be here, give it a thumbs up. We do about 6 or 7 episodes of this, and we take a little break, and then we come back and we do it again. So would love for you guys to be a part of that. William, The Walking Dead billboard. Honestly, I can't come up with anything. It's going to be awesome. How about that? I like that, William. Tuesday night, we will be talking about The Walking Dead. We'll be talking about episode number 2. We probably will take Wednesday off. Hold tight for that. But then Thursday, we're going to come back, do some Fear the Walking Dead. I know a lot of people have been hyped up with Fear. And then Friday night, we're doing our Freestyle Friday. I have a blast. It is the most fun episode that we do. So I'd love for you guys to be a part of that. Then Saturday morning, we got some Walking Dead topics. And then Sunday, you guys know, it's Game of Thrones. So we're going to be doing Game of Thrones Countdown at 8 o'clock. We're going to be doing Game of Thrones Reaction. So we have a full schedule. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate what you guys are doing. Yes, Random Things has changed from Tuesday night to Monday night. So we're going to be doing that tomorrow night. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you here. Thanks for everything that you guys do. Thanks for all the Patreons. We are still counting down every Sunday, so we will have Sunday streams. Don't think that all's done because we're going into summer before long. We got nothing to do. We got tons of stuff to talk about. Shout out to all the channel members. If you guys want your name highlighted in green, you want some custom emojis, and I think we got 65, so if we unlock another 10, we get another 10 channel members. We're going to put a survey up on our Facebook fan page, and we're going to pick who we want to unlock next, whether it be Game of Thrones character, whether it's going to be Fear the Walking Dead character. I'll let you guys choose. You can see we got a ton of emojis out there. So we got that going on. I want to shout out all the moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells, all the super chatters in tonight's stream. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. Really quick, I'm going to shout out the super chatters, and I'm going to shout out as many of the 999 Army as we can. So we got Amy Ferrero, Tom Ferreira, June Smith, Wilson, Gusha Gushe, William the Walking Dead Billboard, John Ariette. We got, who else? The Sweetest Bee You'll Ever Meet, super chatting it. Delaware Sasquatch, Lakeisha Faison, thank you. Grimes on the radio. And several people multiple super chatted. So I appreciate everything that you guys do to support this channel. Unbelievable group of people. And now everybody else. The biggest shout out we can possibly do. Give me a quick 999 so I can say what's up to Joey the Gator, Roxanne Dunlap, Ando1, Mitch True Puddin, Maria Favada. Roxanne Dunlap, thank you. Lil Chi, Julia Drums, thank you. Appreciate that. She's like, no, Game of Thrones will be next Sunday. Anita Nokier, thank you, Anita. Janet Person, thank you. Have a good night. Matt Burkett, Cammie, thank you. Have a good night. Kelly Golonzinier, Ollie Smith. June Smith, absolutely. Thanks, June. Jason Rayner, thanks for being here. Kimberly G. You're welcome. Love it when Kill says my name. Love it. Jacob Harrison, Coachella Coastal. Bamber Kitty. And a lot of people, if you're new, Tobin McLeod, good to see you. Rebecca Mendez, Drama King, Northside Queen, thank you. Viola McGowan. A lot of people that just tune in and they catch the end of this video, they're probably like, why is he reading all these names? This is something we've been doing. This September will be 5 years on YouTube. You guys may not have known that, or you may have known that. But one thing that we started doing very early on is I did sub-shouts, where I would read comments. And we've grown quite a bit since then. But we would never have the support, both financially, from a knowledge standpoint, from a prediction standpoint, from a viewer standpoint. All of those things that we've created is because of everybody here. So that's why I continue to do the shout-outs. And I know I can't get everybody's name in every video, but I try to, whatever shows up on the screen, some people, you may go 10 videos without getting a shout-out. But I'm never going to forget that you guys are the reason why this channel ever existed. You're the reason why this channel continues. So whether we have 10 people or whether we have 10 million, we're never going to change that. So thank you so much for everything you guys do. Hippo's in the house. Better be in the house, Hippo. Thank you so much. Gina Crockett. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, Crystal Singer Chick. Appreciate that. Colleen Hayes, Jennifer Flaherty, thank you. Linda, that is like some super, super high. Best voice on YouTube? I need a blushing emoji. Angelica, thank you. Thank you for being here. Grimes on the radio, thank you. Lynn Nesvik, absolutely, thank you. Newfield 12, thank you. Good seeing all you guys. I appreciate you guys, Deborah Farrell. I appreciate all you guys being here on a Sunday night when there's no Walking Dead as well. I mean, that shows our support, shows our fan base. Absolutely. Hello, neighbor. All right, everybody. Hey, if I missed you in a shout out, I'll catch you on the next one. Be here tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Sunday night is our 8 o'clock time frame, but tomorrow night will be 9, and just be ready. We have a whole slate of topics to talk about. Really looking forward to getting your opinion, your insight. Talk to you then. Peace.